What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Since we've now taken a look at the first trailer for Avengers Doomsday, it's time to get back on the Spider-Man train. Of course, we've already talked about Spider-Man from 2002 and Spider-Man 2 from 2004. Now, we've reached what is probably the most divisive movie in Sam Raimi's trilogy, Spider-Man 3. This movie has plenty of great action, memorable moments, and one of the most iconic internet memes of all time, but it also has a lot of problems. So let's break it down. The movie picks up with Peter finally enjoying life. He's doing well as Spider-Man, New York loves him, and he's getting ready to propose to Mary Jane Watson. But while things seem perfect, trouble starts piling up almost immediately. Mary Jane loses her Broadway role and begins struggling with Spider-Man's constant attention from the public eye. The relationship becomes increasingly strained as Peter attempts to sympathize with her, but all she can think of is herself. More on that later. Meanwhile, escaped convict Flint Marko is involved in a sort of particle accelerator coincidence that transforms him into Sandman, giving him the ability to control and reshape his body into sand. Peter then learns the shocking new information that Flint Marko was supposedly the man who actually killed Uncle Ben.
This man killed my uncle, and he's still out there!
At the same time, Harry Osborn continues his quest for revenge against Peter after learning his secret identity. After an early fight leaves Harry with memory loss, things calm down for a while. Then an alien symbiote secretly attaches itself to Peter's suit. The black suit makes Spider-Man stronger, faster, and more aggressive, but it also brings out Peter's darker side. He becomes arrogant, selfish, and increasingly unlike the hero we've come to know. Things only get worse after Eddie Brock, a rival photographer, is exposed for faking photos. Peter's actions ruin Eddie's career, fueling another enemy. Harry eventually regains his memory and manipulates Mary Jane into breaking Peter's heart. Peter embraces the symbiote even more before finally realizing it's changing him for the worse. Using a ringing bell of a church, he tears the alien suit off. Unfortunately, though, the symbiote falls upon Eddie Brock. Together, they become Venom. The movie ends with Spider-Man teaming up with Harry to battle Venom and Sandman. Harry sacrifices himself to save Peter. Venom is destroyed. Sandman admits the truth about Uncle Ben's death, saying it was an accident during the robbery. Peter forgives him and Flint disappears into the wind. The film concludes with Peter and Mary Jane beginning to repair their relationship after everything they've been through. Now, this is one of the movies that is honestly hard for me to talk about because I don't hate it. There are things I genuinely enjoy here. The action is still fun. Thomas Hayden Church is excellent as Sandman and gives the character a surprising amount of heart. The visual effects, especially Sandman's transformation scenes, still look really impressive nearly 20 years later. Harry's storyline finally reaches its conclusion, and while it's a little uneven getting there, it's the final sacrifice that genuinely gives it an emotional moment.
Thank you. Continue.
But this movie has a lot working against it. The biggest issue is that it feels incredibly crowded. We've got Sandman, we've got Harry, Venom, we've got the Black Suit storyline, Peter and Mary Jane relationship drama, Gwen Stacy, Eddie Brock. It feels like several different movies all mashed together into one.
Where do all these guys come from?
Very few of these storylines get the amount of time they really deserve. Speaking of Mary Jane, well, I really struggle with her in this movie. She constantly is making frustrating decisions. The relationship drama feels repetitive after the first two films, and by this point, it's hard to stay invested in the back and forth between her and Peter. Instead of making me root for them, a lot of their scenes just make me feel exhausted. Another thing that has never really worked for me is changing Uncle Ben's killer. The first movie already gives us an emotional, complete story about Peter living with the consequences of his choices. Revealing years later that Sandman was actually responsible cheapens the original tragedy just enough for it to lose its emotional impact for me. It feels like a twist that was added because the movie needed to connect to the first one rather than it truly benefiting from it for a story point of view. Then there's that version of Peter Parker. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The dancing, the finger guns, the strutting down the sidewalk, the piano, the nightclub scenes. Some of these moments have some hilarious internet memes attached to them, but watching them in an actual movie still makes me cringe every single time. I understand what the movie was trying to do, showing Peter corrupted by the symbiote, but the problem is that instead of feeling intimidated or cool, a lot of it just comes off as really, really awkward. There's still a lot of entertaining moments throughout this movie, but the tone jumps around so much that it can be hard to know exactly what film you are trying to watch. At the end of the day, Spider-Man 3 isn't a movie I dislike. I still have fun watching it. There are some genuinely great action sequences. Sandman is a great villain. Harry gets a satisfying-ish conclusion, and despite all its flaws, it's still entertaining. But you just can't ignore how overcrowded the story feels, how much relationship drama drags things down again, how awkward almost all of Peter's dark moments are, and how Uncle Ben's reveal slightly weakens one of the most important moments of the original film. This movie has some really high highs and some very memorable lows. It's definitely the weakest movie in Sam Raimi trilogy for me, but it's still one that I think you can revisit. Just know that there are some flaws. But that's just my opinion. What do you think of Spider-Man 3? Do you think it's underrated, or do you think it's one of the weakest Spider-Man movies of the era? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like and subscribe the video as we continue our journey through just about all of the Spider-Man movies leading up to Spider-Man Brand New Day. Next up, The Amazing Spider-Man. Thank you for watching, and now that you've got some time, you can go refill that Spider-Man themed popcorn bucket.